Ready to be. So thank you for being here with us. We're here kind of excited because we're going to share answers to a question that was given to us. And I think you'll all be glad to have the information. So Sananda here speaking. And the question came from Audrey, whom isn't in the room today, but I know that she will be on board for the replay. So if her question and our answers spark anything for you, put your questions in the chat. If we have time today, which we may not, we'll take your questions too, but we'll have them for another time. We had thought that maybe every other week we would do questions and answers, but we're going to fly, as you say, by the seat of our pants, and we'll answer questions when they come in. So here's Audrey's question. Where are all of the ancient ones, where are they located? Where are they? Where is their home? What are they coming from? Give us a little information about yourselves. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have Emma share one of Sharon's charts that most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with. But it will kind of give you the landscape of the galactic worlds and Earth world. So Emma, if you're ready, you can put that up on the screen and we'll start talking about, I guess we could call it the genealogy, interconnections of us all. We'll call it that.
Sananda, I am not sure why, but the share screen will only relate to Sharon's computer.
Okay, I did this just in case.
Thank you.
So we're learning. We're learning. Okay, so as you see, this is a schematic, a picture of the galactic landscape vibrationally. And you've seen it before. In our particular experience, Earth mission, there are 7 different divine families with specific agendas of good that have come together for Earth mission. So we're not one family, but we are one collective of 7 families. So I'm going to just take you through some of the ancient ones you've met here on the call and give you an overview of how we're working in this landscape. So myself, Sananda, my headquarters, if you will, my collective headquarters is in the 4th world. I am from the divine family of curiosity, and so that's my core family. Archangel Michael is from the core family of clarity or leadership. We will say we might say it power, but it's power with, not power over. That's Archangel Michael, and he's also headquartered with me in the 4th world. We're a collective, you see. We're all collective groups in the 7 worlds beyond Earth. So none of us are standalone individuals. We are in groups. Archangel Raphael, whom you've met, Michael is very much into helping with healing, and especially healing the outsiders as it relates to the galactic worlds. That's pretty clear. So he's available for a lot of things now. Archangel Raphael has been connected to the divine families and helping with where they're at, and he also is in that collective in the 4th world. His divine family is the family of inner knowing, of intuition, and that's his divine family. Now, we could speak of Gaia. We will speak of Gaia. Gaia is not one of our divine family members. She has her own world, her own collective. She was here and has been generous enough to allow us to be in her field to hope to our hope was and intention is now to accomplish Earth mission and then to explore and create from the beauty that is offered here. Sophia, just coming in to greater power in restoring the authority voice of the females, is from the divine family of curiosity, and she works within from a collective in the third world. Grace, again part of the female mission, is also in that collective in the third world, and her divine family is also the family of curiosity. When we say curiosity, we want to again revisit that just for a minute. Curiosity was, this family group did not choose one aspect of all possible good. They chose to experience a little of all of it. So sometimes they may feel scattered, but their base frequency is a base of home step down into these other worlds. And within home, just like within real home, soul home, source home, we move through all the different frequencies, the different songs, but it's a different frequency. It's very, very high. And so the curiosity family wanted to have the opportunity to experience any of all of that, but in different vibrational forms, which now we've just gotten slower and slower and slower. So all the others are aspects. They were more specific about the aspect of all good that they wanted to be experiencing within. So there we have Gaia, Sophia, and Grace. We have Sananda. We have Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. Now, Tesla stepped up really big time. And Tesla's also of the family of curiosity. He, as a soul, exists within a collective in the seventh world. And he's talked to you about the geniuses, the intellect, the creative abilities. These beings are holding an energy collective closer to the earth experience, the earth vibration, and that's perfect for them to help bring in new things. Their vibration isn't so fast that you have to kind of step it down. They're right there available to you, and again, part of a collective. Another aspect is Star, who stepped in as a direct representation or ambassador for the Star families, and she exists. She genderfying. It's not, there's no genders in those worlds, but we'll say she exists in a collective in the second world, and that's that collective of holding the divine family's agendas in that unified, clear way that has occurred over the last 20 years in order to begin to step down the energy of each divine family, but also within the support of all the other families. So the collective gives a different kind of support, a different kind of even observation than each family would have had they done their own journey. So you've all been benefited by the collaboration that was almost like a forced collaboration to get rid of the outsiders, but in that you've been able to speak to one another, feel from one another, experience from another. Your direct flow is from your divine families, but vicariously, you can sense and learn way beyond that. So that's Star. Now we get into the PTO group. Now the PTO group has three different components. those that Sharon identifies as dots of light, and they haven't wanted a name. They haven't wanted a name. And I will call them dots of light too. They are not from any of these families. They are they are a collective group that birthed directly from home, and their divine agenda was all good. It was like curiosity. They've never been invaded. They really learned and applied awareness so that the deceptive energies of the outsiders was identified at a touch and never allowed in. That's the value they bring to the PTO group, that they are sovereign, always have been sovereign, but they have been extremely, extremely helpful in helping this group, our collective, uh, restore themselves. So, so much respect and honor to that group within the PTO. Um, the other group within the PTO is the Tag Collective, or the Tag Healers. The Tag Healers initially was not a collective including other modalities. They were just the information from Tag Mission, Earth Mission, purpose of male female. So everything that but was just all about the initial tag system. They were to heal the space, restore the space quickly when the outsiders were removed. And that particular group within the PTO system exists from the fourth world in alignment with Sananda, Michael, and Raphael. So that's the second part of the PTO group. The other part of the PTO group that Sharon's just identified them as a Platonian energy. And she's never asked exactly where they come from before. She just knew they held very clear boundaries. They contained space, which was so needed. They didn't bend, but they had a different feel, for example, from the PTO, the dots of light in the PTO. The Those of the Platonian energy are from another outside group of divine families, and they are a collective in and of themselves, and their experiences agenda was that power of leadership, of clarity, not power over, but very clear voice to say this is what we're going to be doing, and holding that space. That's the Platonians. And they're outside of the family group, so they're not in any of these worlds directly. I mean, that's not where they are harbored. They interact with all of those just as the dots of light do, but they're not homed in any of these worlds. So then we thought we'd throw these in for you to understand. The group that is called the Platonic, the Octorians and Palladians. You've heard of those groups before, and those two groups are also a divine family collective. They incorporate members from all the divine families, and they each had a role that they took on to play to help the family survive. So the Palladians have their headquartered, if you will, in the sixth world, and they are also there holding the frequency, reminding us of home, reminding us of love, reminding us of home, reminding us of love. The Octorians had basically created the same agenda for that collective of reminding you of home. So you hear, from them, that's in that survival mode. We had to keep reminding ourselves we weren't freed, but we had to keep being reminded that we are of love. Love is the greater power. All of those kinds of things, and the Octorians collective is in the seventh world. So that gives you kind of a sense of this galactic landscape of where we have various members of the greater collective helping with Earth mission. There is also what we call the tag collective, which includes the tag healers, those who have helped put that together, which includes the ancient ones. Our information is what Sharon put into that system. But several years ago, there was enough clarity in the galactic worlds that we could begin bringing in those who were holding healing modalities that were manifested on the planet. So we didn't, so it became a place where it wasn't this or this, it was this and this and this and this. We were working together. So whether it's Reiki or Ho'oponopono, whether it's tag, whether it's some of the other modalities, the collective itself is housed or headquartered in the fifth world. And you have access to all of that, to all of that. So I hope that begins to flesh out how these collectives have formed, where they are in the different worlds. It's not that they do not in any way impact the other worlds, they do. We are really all one, and right now our big commitment is Earth mission restoration of divine agendas by removing all energies of any form that are from outsider agendas. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna continue. Okay, so this brings us to you and us, the you and us that are the we, that are the one here. Every one of you, to some degree, have developed a way to know your language into the unseen groups. Because there are many, many ways to hear that information. The information contained on the galactic landscape, can you imagine? It is unlimited. Which, we talk about source often of being all powerful, everywhere present, all knowledge, all love, etc. And home source is that on a very high frequency level. That doesn't mean righteous versus non-righteous. It means frequencies. It means speed. Connecting to that home, you're not going to be able to do it directly at this point in time in the physical bodysuit. Not because there's righteous and unrighteous, deserving, undeserving. It's a frequency speed that this body technology has not been programmed to hear, receive it in that form. It's like medical technology can take information from the body at a certain frequency and spit out information. And it cannot measure, the Western medicine technology doesn't have the mathematical language to understand higher frequencies than it presently has, if that makes sense. So there other technology is in place that can identify imbalance in the physical body before Western medicine. That's possible, absolutely. So kind of it's the same thing. This physical bodysuit has the capacity to interpret language through feelings, touch, taste, smell, and sight. But that requires frequencies to be very, very slow. And it's valuable, it's intentional that we pick up those slower frequencies. Those of you here are picking up frequencies that are higher, that the body itself doesn't interpret. And some of those higher frequencies, the body itself won't even feel because they're too high. We're trying to communicate with all of you, with all of humanity, really, with all of you, to bring information, to bring insight, to bring invitation. And it may be that our voice to you is going to be sometimes at a frequency level that you haven't developed the interpretation for yet. So you may, but it has an impact. It has an impact on you. That impact might be something that triggers old pain. For example, you're all in female bodies. So you all have in times past gone through witch hunt type stuff. You all in times past have said, I'm not valuable, I'm going to turn down my light. You all have had experiences in which you have been harmed. You've made contracts to stay little and small. And we are going to be calling you and inviting you to idea possibilities that would have in other lifetimes been unsafe. You see? So when you hear the voice, which is a frequency that visionaries and intuitives will feel, it may very well trigger your old voice of that's not safe, I don't think we can do it, I'll doubt. So we want to point out to you that invitations coming to you in this time might be more expansive than you'd even thought possible, and you may be left feeling heavy. Don't let the heaviness, recognize the heaviness that maybe you're feeling or will feel is simply an old construct in your field or the field of female psyche that is going like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And the only way that you're going to get that invitation is to talk to the voice invitation that may have triggered the heaviness. If you stay with the heaviness, you've missed our invitation. And if that happens too often, we will move away because we don't want your heaviness to be your experience. But the invitation may very well call you to heal, transform something you didn't even know was there in order to connect to the invitation. This is a time of expanding your language ability, your spiritual language ability. Like you know French and you know Spanish, but maybe you don't know Portuguese, or maybe you don't know Russian, you see. And maybe those are the languages that have the invitation that will help you use your French, use your Spanish, but take it to a different higher level of expression. So as always, our invitation is to sit with us, to set aside time to say, I want to know your invitation, but maybe we can talk and share, and I can get it on my language level, and then I can up the ante. But we are inviting. We are inviting across the board. We are sending out invitations across the board. But only you can bring that idea and that invitation into some form that those in your sphere of influence are looking for. You're always free to say no. You're always free to say not now. You're always free to say, can we start a little bit smaller? Always. Always. But our work together is not going to stop. Our invitations won't stop. We may back off for a time, we might lessen for a time. We do not, our intention is never to create pain, but sometimes our invitation will show what's in your particular field of energy that in the past was pained, but it needs to be heard, working together. Well, okay, here we go. Star does want to say something. So we turn over to Star. I just want to let you know that your divine families are really excited for participating with you. Whatever it is you choose to create, we will be there flowing our heritage to you, if you will. We will be there. You want to be the best gardener in the world, and your divine family is joy. You will be the most joyful, beautiful gardener there is. It isn't a matter of the biggest picture wins. That's not how we function. If you want to create the big picture, your family was there, going to be there with you to create the big picture. But if you want to do quiet inner hermit for a time, your family will be there for that. And looking around this circle, these women in this circle, and every time there's a circle, you look around and you feel the heart of each one of you. You feel the clarity of each one of you. And nobody has the energy of competition. You have a feeling of let's lift. Let's lift together. I want to see your art. I want to taste your food. I want to sit in meditation with you. Just because. We're going to look back at this time a year down the road with tears in our eyes. With tears in our eyes. So share with one another, be with one another, plan those things too. Because we are doing that already. We're doing that already, and it's richness beyond compare. You need that here. You need that here. So hold hands, share hugs, send out jokes, good movies, We love you. We love you beyond compare. And we leave you with that. With that. Blessings.